we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. We stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of May 2025. The program comes to you Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a comprehensive look at the daily events, the latest information, in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and exciting surprises. To be part of the show, call us on 0911-22986-986 or 0913-986-986 is our text message slot. If you can't access the radio, we are also online on Facebook, X, to YouTube, and more. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging to that's our website at www.iradio.org. Coming up. The Minister of Information has said that South Sudan is going for general election in December 2026 as scheduled.
We are going for elections in 2026. And before we go for elections, we will train you as journalists. For elections, it is our duty. We'll give you the necessary training because you will be part and parcel of the monitoring body in the election.
Well, we shall get more update from the Information Minister, Michael Makwei, in Lueth, in this particular program. Meanwhile, the Governor of Central Equatoria State is in Morobo County to assess the situation of the displaced people in the area.
Just a few moments ago, His Excellency General Agustino Jadal Camilo Wani, the Governor of Central Equatoria State, arrived in Morobo County.
Well, update on that, we shall have, of course, the State Information Minister, Jacob Aligo. And it's still to come in the second hour. We shall cross over to that Western Equatoria State, where authorities in Tombra are calling for humanitarian assistance to support the displaced person in the area.
Akin umashamat kaman kalam bitafaha bitaman ajal anahina kaman nina kawafima matara kile kaman the outbreak of cholera it may occur anytime, so there is total disparate needs.
Anamana basuma ke Tirimin acting executive director bita Tambra County wa Moses Maseseri wa barnamij ta Sundown show ma konfitek di mana Madrama James ni shil fasili ala badak lo anerja en atwal biyebda barnamij bitena fi yom alela.
Basma le radio Hagiga I radio en takum fi Junub Sudan.
Today, we are shining a spotlight on a key event that could shape the future of our country. The Stakeholders Validation Workshop on the Media Communication Strategy for the upcoming general elections. Before we go to that segment, let's bring you the news where the Information Minister has said that South Sudan is going for general election in December 2026 as scheduled. Michael Makwei said this during the belated commemoration of World Press Freedom Day on Tuesday, while elaborating the role of journalists in ensuring a free and fair electoral process. He announced that the government will train journalists in election coverage and monitoring. Michael Makwei urged media professionals to take up the upcoming training seriously and respond when called upon. He stated the government is committed to ensuring conducive environment for the conduct of free, fair, and credible election. Now let's listen to what Michael Makwene has to say in this following statement.
In addition, what I would like to inform you is that, yes, we are going for elections in 2026. And before we go for elections, we will train you as journalists. For elections, it is our duty. We'll give you the necessary training because you will be part and parcel of the monitoring body in the election. So you will be trained, be ready. When we call you for training, don't give us any excuses, attend the training. This is what I can tell you so that we prepare you for elections, because the elections, we believe that the elections that we will run will be free, fair, credible, and we will create the necessary conducive atmosphere for elections so that everybody enters that field without fear or anything.
Yes, you have just heard from the Minister of Information, Communication, Postal Services, Michael Makwene right there. And now to shift a little bit, we are going to talk about something very important, a big meeting that took place today here in Juba. It's called the Stakeholders Validation Workshop, and it's all about the preparing how we shall share information with the public ahead of that upcoming general election. Now, you may be wondering, what's this meeting all about? Well, it brought together people from the government, media, and civil society, all working on a plan to make sure every citizen get the right information during the election. It's called a media communication strategy, and it's meant to help us all take part in the voting process peacefully and wisely. Now, let's first listen to that Elijah Aliar, who is the managing director of the media authority, speaking to participants during the workshop this morning.
As we gather today for the Stakeholders Validation Workshop on Media Communication Strategy for General Election in South Sudan, it is with great honor that I address you today at this crucial Stakeholders Validation Workshop on the Media Communication Strategy for the upcoming general election in South Sudan. Our theme, Unpacking Election Media Communication Matrix, underscores our collective commitment to ensuring an electoral process that is transparent, inclusive, and credible. This validation workshop is an important step in refining a media communication strategy designed to inform and actively engage all citizens throughout the electoral cycle. Your presence here signifies the importance of collaborative efforts in shaping a communication framework that addresses key aspects of the electoral process. This strategy is carefully crafted to address several critical areas. First, we aim to bolster voter education, ensuring that every eligible citizen is well informed about their rights and responsibilities. Second, we seek to promote peaceful participation, fostering an environment of tolerance and respect. Third, the strategy is designed to combat misinformation, providing accurate and reliable information to counter false narrative. Finally, we are committed to ensuring equitable media access to all political parties and empowering citizens to make informed decisions. This initiative is co-shared by the Media Authority and the National Communication Authority, with the membership of the South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation, the Information Commission, and the Universal Service Access Fund, under the policy guidance of the competent minister for the Ministry of ICT and Postal Services. This collaborative approach underscores the importance of a multifaceted strategy, one that involves the government, media, and civil society. We are honored to have representatives from a diverse range of the stakeholders group, the National Election Commission, Political Parties Council, civil society organization, media fraternity, UN agencies, donors, academia, government, and law enforcement agencies are all presented here today. Your presence signifies a collective dedication to ensuring the integrity of the electoral process. Our primary goal is to ensure free, fair, credible, accountable, and transparent general election through a robust media communication strategy. This strategy is not merely a document. It is a roadmap that will guide our actions and inform our decision throughout the electoral period. One of our key objectives is to serve as a crucial link with the National Election Commission, facilitating transparent media coverage and ensuring compliance with electoral guidelines and regulations. This collaboration will help to foster trust and confidence in the electoral process. Our commitment to transparent and fair electoral process is firmly grounded in the policy and legal framework. By establishing clear media election guidelines for journalists, politicians, civil society, organizations, and the general public, we aim to uphold the principle of transparency and fairness throughout the election. These guidelines are in accordance with Section 82 and 83 of the National Election Act 2012 as amended in 2023. The strategy methodology is designed to foster transparent, inclusive, and well-informed electoral process. We will focus on training, education, coordination, and engagement to ensure that every citizen has the information and resources they need to participate fully and confidently in the elections. Implementing an effective media communication strategy requires a well-structured budget plan. This strategy outlines the key financial requirements necessary to support various aspects of the strategy, including infrastructure setup, media guideline development, educational material production, and operational costs for stakeholders' collaboration and public campaign. This budget plan not only supports the immediate needs of the election, but also contribute to the long-term development of South Sudan media landscape. We seek the support of the government and partners in realizing this vision for a transparent and fair election, establishing a strong foundation for South Sudan's democratic future. In conclusion, this stakeholders validation workshop is a critical step toward ensuring that the upcoming general election in South Sudan are conducted with the highest standards of transparency, inclusivity, and credibility. Together, we can create a media communication strategy that empowers citizens, promote peaceful participation, and safeguard the integrity of the electoral process. Thank you for your participation and dedication to this vital endeavor.
Elijah Alier is the Managing Director of Media Authority South Sudan, is speaking during a validation workshop on the media communication strategy for the upcoming general election. For his part, the Deputy Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, David Yao Yao, says people should not fear election as they reflect the competence of politicians when voters upon them. Let us listen to David Yao Yao addressing the gathering today here in Juba as well. And this is what he had to say.
I just wanted to touch base a little bit on what the predecessors spoke about, especially the our brother Yakani, in his view, he says election is one of the most feared political phenomena in the globe. It is true, you know, when it comes to election, so everybody will reserve himself or herself in a better position so that you can win it. But also, you see, I participated in the one of Sudan General Election that was in 2010 myself. Indeed, I've experienced and I've seen how hard it is. I believe we have a lot of testimonies to talk about when it comes to election. But I did not shy away from it. I really developed a lot of interest and you see, we should have opportunity to participate as well, so that you can also know whether you are competent enough or not. It is really very good game, so we don't need to take it negatively. And people should not really fear it. We should first participate. You see, with all the energy that we can, so that whether you are really competent or not, whether really people like you or not, whether you're going to say something that you're going to do or not. I know the politicians normally create a lot of stories when it comes to that time so that they confuse the voters. But reality always comes to pass. I saw it myself, but this is one of the experiences why we are here. So we need to always strike back on it. And we need to be very positive when we talk about it. We don't need to shy away. Let us be point out the areas of needs and the areas that can really take us forward. And then we can do what they say, credible, free, and fair election. You see, the last election of United States of America, I watched them closely and I followed it here in South Sudan. You see, I was supporting fully Kamala Harris. I thought she was going to win the election, which I think many of you believe to be. But that last night, you see, it took so long. So it was not happening at the right time here in South Sudan. I thought I was going to follow it up to the end. But somewhere there in the middle of the night, so sleep took me over, and I could not follow it up to the end. But when I wake up in the following morning, I had to see that Kamala Harris was going to win. But in opposite, it was Trump that won the election. You see, how it happened, we really do not know. It is beyond our capacity. Sometimes in elections, there is a lot of intricacy that we cannot really manage it ourselves. But the best thing is we need to be free, fair, and impositive to ourselves. We need to talk about it. Why should we shy away from talking about it? Because it is us. It is really for the good of country and it is for the good of our people. Thank you so much, Yakani and the rest. You see, like what I've just said briefly about U.S. election. So, U.S. election is one of the oldest countries in the world that believes to be a little bit well organized constitutionally and in all the government systems. But see, they still have problem in election up to now. So they still have election up to now. Our neighboring countries. So and across, they still have something to do about election when it comes to election time. So the countries that took more than 100 years in the system, the countries that took more than 60 years and above in the country, if they still have problems in the election, what do you think of us, the South Sudan, who are just doing the rest? It will take some time, for us to catch up with the rest. So what is needed of us is, so we need to be more patient. It doesn't mean we keep quiet. We can talk. But we cannot really equalize ourselves with those developed countries that have already, come up at least with some of the systems that could be followed, whether constitutional and across. So colleagues, you see this, the Kenyan says, you see, that's what they say. If we are so speedy, we may overturn the car. So what is important is, let us handle it professionally, slowly. I'm sure we will do it the rest.
Well, David Yao Yao is the South Sudan Deputy Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, addressing, of course, the participant in the same gathering of that's the validation workshop on the media communication strategy for the upcoming general election earlier today. And before I also invite in you to share your own thought with us, let's listen to that James Call Zakayo, who is from that political party council, and this is what he had also to say in the same occasion.
Since it's an open-based election, we need to see that the organizations that are related, and most importantly, the media fraternity. There should be organizational behavior looked into. When I talk about organizational behavior, I mean the governance within the media entities. I mean the ethics within the media entities. I mean the responsibilities of reporting. I mean the core values. We need to have values. I mean the leadership. And the success of any election lies on the media. And especially during the electoral cycle. I can assure you Ghana is very successful because of the media strategy that they have developed. We did a tour whereby we visited the most stable democracy West Africa, which was Ghana. We also visited Botswana in the SADC region, and we visited Tanzania. We found that the success of democracy and the election lies in the media. And the media starts from the pre-electoral process. The moment you start to write, you don't allow the street to be giving the information. Should be information from a credible media, not social media. Credible media. And the media must be credible. I don't mean to say that we should entertain hashtags, no. But we have to filter them and see which are the credible media. We should also be mindful and careful of AI and social media. We should have one channel of communication for us to be able to get reliable information. And then now people will say this information is from a reliable source. We will never have a reliable information if the media is not accurate. So we urge the concerned authorities to focus into that. In regards to the comment, before I could conclude, my dear brother, whom I regard internationalist, Mr. Edmond Yakani, we acknowledge your role in the country and your concerns. So all that you have suggested that you will be focusing eye on us, the electoral institutions. That one is very good. It's good to have check and balances. It's good to have someone who check you. So we encourage you to keep checking us so that we are corrected. We welcome you to do that. But I still promise you that we are within the laws and regulations that makes us who we are as an institution. We always welcome the third party opinion for us to correct ourselves. Media will be highly needed soon because we have recently acquired the advanced registration system for all the political parties. And the system now, we have the servers now being installed since last week. So soon, we shall enroll all the members of political parties in our system, whereby a party member will not be dual member, will be a member to only one single political party. And this system is going to screen political parties in the country democracy. We will need media to help us on disseminate information in regards to that. So when the time comes, we shall engage the media authority and help us on that. We also need to be trained. We have a media unit that also needs to be trained. And this is the beginning of collaboration between us and the media authority.
James Akol Zakaya is from the South Sudan Political Party Council, talking to participants right there in the same occasion. With that, dear listener, what's your take? Share your opinion with us on 0911-229-8698. Send for us a text message on 0911-0913-986-986. Zesemena fi mujaisat kala sebda bedha fi yom bitale la kan fi workshop bamulo wa workshop de bijibu na civil society na skaman media stakeholders wa na sukuma shenke baini strategia bita intikhabata aljayo wa hukuma hali nugala fi 2026 bukon fi intikhabat bedhabta bugul shuno fi nayade ay radio.
Hello, radio.
Naam.
Madrama Jemi.
Ustaz Sultan Joseph.
Nalita kweli.
Mabathal.
Ukalam kweli ya Madrama Jemi. Ana bayi.
Malesh kedeza shwaya mini radio.
Radio.
Gadam.
Okay. Ana my comment. Iza kan jazini ya Madrama Jemi. كلمة جاهز كل 10 ولايات و3 ولايات في كل مكاتب يسجل المواطنين كله كويس. كله مواطنين يسجلوا كله ما يكلاي زول. أنا ده اتكابات ناس ما يتمت في كشوفات زمان بتاع 2010 وكده ما كويس. أنا بكون في زيادة أو بكون في النقص. ده لازم المواطن يسجلوا تاني الوحدات اسمها الحدادية أصل. ده نمرة واحد. نمرة اثنين كلا حكومة ذاته كلي غير الناس غير المواطنين يشوف الخدمات الصحة والتعليم والسكتر وين ذاته. هسه الناس بجرجرين هسه الناس بقول خروج بالتفاوض لما الناس يمشي بين ما في حاجة فما في تغيير. كلام أكوي قال لازم يكون في تكابد. ده ما تعليمات بتاع الجيش بقول انتباه وانصراف. لا ما في الجيش لازم نادي يعمل في الجيش. المواطن ودار تكابد والله يا إنا لو قال بكرة ونادي العملنا الحماية سكرت فيه وجد كله فيه أننا جاهزين. هنا دايرين ذاته دايرين غير الناس دي التكابد دايرين غير كويس. حكومة كتير كم 60 وزير 600 برلمان وكم رئيس نائب رئيس وكم وزراء وكم مفوضية وكم جنرالات. تعبانين شديد.
نعم معلش شكرا كالس سلطان جوزيف ناسو مبارو من راديو.
Good evening, Madrama James.
Yes, James Duar, welcome on board.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate Sultan Joseph. He put most of the points. And I would want to say the government is wasting the resources with what is not going to work. Because election, if people are really focusing on the agreement, then there will be no election because there are provisions that enshrined in the agreement need to be implemented, then people go for election.
What are those provisions, for example?
The provisions, one is constitutional making process. And this is very important because the constitution is the one that is going to protect the election itself. What will be the terms and conditions that the persons that defeated and he or she did not accept his defeat, and which court will that person be going to appeal to? So these are the things that need to be done. One, the judicial reforms, then we also see on how the electoral commissions should start their work. And the most other important one is the security arrangement. And they opted that to fight so that it will be integration of the forces of IO. And they didn't know that this is really creating something that will not end, because there will be a lot of insurgencies and people will just continue fighting, and that election should not take place. Okay, now they are talking of election. Whom are they going to election with? Are they really meaning the RSS, or they are meaning this different thing that is not related to RSS? If they are meaning the RSS, then they must to implement things that are necessary to be implemented. One, the security arrangement, constitutional making, and any other important things that need to be done, like census, population census, and many, many other things that need to be prepared. And now people opted to go for war, and you are talking here of election. Who are those going to election with them? So this is a question that need to be asked, even those who are wasting resources, going there and wasting time going there. I don't think whether this thing will work. If you can also look at the RSS now, RSS, and that's why I do call it deadwood. And if it is deadwood, okay, charm election cannot be allowed. Charm election is going to bring the same basis. Okay? Charm election, you will vote on the gunpoint because you will be threatened. You vote for the person whom they want. Okay? To legitimize themselves. And the same basis, all are the ones going to come back. Because now they are trying to dismantle the opposition. And the opposition that are with them are opposition that operate within their pocket, the SPLM-IG pocket. So also, it will create another problem. Within SPLM-IG, the endorsement that did to Kir in 2024 will not work, because there are some people who have the desire to be the president. And this is always the problem. When those people try, then the problem will start. And that's why you see we have SPLM-IO, SPLM-IG, real SPLM outside. This happened because there were people who were having that ambition to be the president. Unfortunately, someone wanting the presidency say, no, I don't want to give this position to anyone. Let us really open, prepare, and political space to everyone.
All right, James.
Preparation of election. And if political space is not open to anybody, these people are serious. Yes?
Yes, James Dwar, before I let you go, the Deputy Minister of that's Information, Communication Technology and Postal Services, David Yawyao, said there are even some other nations that have obtained their independence long ago, but they still face some other challenges when it comes to that, the conduct of election. It now is suggesting better South Sudan should have election than never at all. What's your reaction?
My reaction to his statement, you cannot compare yourself to someone. Okay? If you want to correct things, these are failures comparison. Because when you fail, you check where there are failures before, then you try to compare yourself with. So
thank you.
If you want to change something, you cannot compare yourself, because there are principles that make us to fight. And most of the what people fought for was democracy, equality, and prosperity for the nation.
All right.
Do we have that one? No. So we cannot just. These are comparison of failures anyway.
Shukran. Let's keep it here because of time, and we give also a chance to others to share their thought. If in case you have just joined us, you are listening to the Sundown Show with me, Madrama James, and we discuss a remark of that Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Michael Makwene Lueth, who reaffirmed that South Sudan is set to hold general elections in December 2026. Now we ask you, what's your thought on this? Let me get live from this. Radio.
Hello, Madrama James.
Aywa.
Ana قبل الرصيد بتاعي انتهت. أنا ما كمل الكلام بتاعي.
قدم.
أنا قلت يا مدرب جامد إن إحنا جاهزين في الانتخابات. كويس. لكن الحكومة دي هو كبير. عشان كده هسه الوضع الاقتصادي ماشي بطال جدا. من ال 600 الناس في البرلمان، من كم 60 وزير، من كم رئيس نائب رئيس، سيعود تعب. عشان كده نحن والله دايرين حكومة بينتهي والناس في كل في تكابات 2026 عشان المواطن ذاته يقول كلمة بتاعه عشان ذاته الحكومة الجديدة شغلت على المواطن يا مدرب الجيمي يا وده أنا تعلمي كلام لناس مايكل مكوي لناس SLM IG وايو ياتو إلى عذاب كل شيء فوق أنا كده أنا تعبانين أنا كده تعبانين أنا كده أنا جاهزين يشوفوا لكن كده ما بتاعنا يعملوا هذا ما بتاعنا يعملوا الكورس والتعليم والسكتر وين دي يستمر كلاب دي المواطن ده شنو المواطن ما دار خدمات ما في مصر يا متوجه شكرا جزيلا
شكرا ده كان أستاذ سلطان جوزيف من سكسيتا هنا في جوبا ناسما من داي راديو.
اهلا وسهلا اكو تايبا جرامة جامي
زي ما بلولو
سلام عليك وكيف نعمل وما بنسيتو كل المستمعين
شكرا جزيلا
وبديس توتيل صوت أتام كمان عشان كانوا بنسوا شوية في كلام ده لازم مهم شديد عشان كده لازم كان فايز ده ناس كتار ناس كل بدين فلاتا كل الأحزاب وكل حكومة والشعب نجني في مال واحد نعمل استشهاد لانتخابات ده كلام كويس فنتمنى الناس يجني فلاتا بجد يشوفوا مشكلة بتاع صعوبات تحديات لازم كنا نشيلوه بعد نشوف تراجعات لازم البرنامج ده بروح قدام الشيء المبكر ده كويس نفوت حاجات كله في مالها تاو أكيد يعني بمشي بروح تاو أما شيء ناس قولنا شو كلام ومن تبقوا فوق لازم كله يتم تنفيذ بتاعه لأنه
معلش زعيم بلولو في وسط رسالة بتاعك لو ناس اتفق في كلام لازم كمان من نفس وبذات تنفيذ بتاع كل شيء الناس قاعد بيتفق فوقه وينفسه. أي راديو
لا
سلطانة
إذا أنا بسجن إذا
مالو كمان
جام جامس دور جوان سو أنا تكاد يلا كمان إذا جاب فلانة
bab
de soda dilge
mama jata kawajale kedema sarbang nas
kalam ta kawajale gala maga dugo iyal de ya su iyal gila da su
mara
selmita fi studio ana selmu mustamin kulu
shukran
yala ta ni wala ta dan anna jadin anna der uketabat kulamu winna der lajin kulumo ni kun jadin fogo kele kalam de ma kulimo yala be masao be sibo o kali kalam de kum sire su diga etanu anna be ka tabani umon nas ko barta anna de umon ille nasal indo yal sukairin gerada wo nasal hamilane wo yal sukairin ali biga bido de ma bakder jere ma bakder dus nafsa to ma bakder amul ya haja der control min uma kulumon raja bado kulumon tifagu kolilajin election amul nafsa to be kalamta umahat tabani na der security fi belede na der security fi belede na der zolo aligejade na der security alita bera 20 mile ita bera amul jirata kina ita beja akita bosun bizet ita be biutani tani tabako anna madera ali ita gerwa fi malijira ita beja benya kameta ubusulu akil be au be katolita anna madar katolu de tani donc kubu ke tirki du Sudan ko fa na der lajim election kalamu no soto o numero 18 madarasa elina fe jolo lajim alige jade yamulu madarasa yamulu mususfat tamam asan nafta banin masakinat al mabelugo ya hajade belugo madarasa u belugo ilaji kwes
naam
penedul sakit asa bega de kam asa naso na bakida asa no to mutu kalam penedul sakit de na belugo na dar zola le jade asa beji bulen na hajada al kwes so kirti de amma haja alina de shukran
jazilan sultana mama maria radio gobala kawal ne shilo fasil ne mshi twal fi kasala tijaria yala bada gluanerja juzu mina kuma alkaman na awe risala fi Facebook wa aldela alkamander gadima musharaka fi live call to wali nina bigadim hakum bata kasala tijaria.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes, she needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10, and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized, and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes. Pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
بدي رسالة تعالي سالفة خير ما يدي مع بتاعه نحن نسوان بذات سنتري كوتيرا ستيت نحن ما دايرين مشاكل ما دايرين نرجع تاني في مشاكل لو إذا في مشكلة بين أخوان يحلوا براحة أنا بتمنى إنه كلهم يحلوا مشكلاتنا لأن نحن تعبانين ولدنا في حرب ونحن ربانا في حرب ولدنا إيالنا في الحرب وبروا إيالنا يتربوا في حرب نحن بتمنى إنه هم ما يرجعنا ورا ونحن كلنا بنتمنى إنه إخواتنا كلنا يقعدوا بالسلامة نحن الأمهات نحن ولدنا ونحن كان في أي حاجة نحن نتوجه وكان في كل مشاكل نحن يا مدررين مع إيال بتاعنا.
The Sundown for the news, views, opinion, debates and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Welcome back from our first commercial break of the show. Now, before I pick some of your live calls right here, I would like to also thank those who have taken their humble time to write to us via that's our Facebook page, and I do really appreciate them. Though I will not read them all, but let me pick some, few from it and give it back to you. We have Paulino Sebidak. This is Paulino Yell Attack. He is wondering whether Paulino Yell Attack is saying as citizens we are ready to cast our vote, and I appreciate the government spokesperson for telling us that the government is also ready to conduct an election. And then we have Wen Majok Mayan. He is watching us from that Sakwa Jogwarabi state. He doubt whether there will be election in 20 26. W. Christopher George is watching us live from that Western Equatorial State, Yambio. Then we have got that Honorable Anyumi Peter Elijah. He's saying Yellow Eye Radio for election to be held and not to be postponed. We need some changes. We are tired of that unemployment in our country, and that alone is his concern. Thank you. Then we have this person is calling himself, that's Ayiki. Ayiki is saying, with which population are they going to organize to go for that general election if some parts or areas are empty? And the daily news that is coming is, of course, we have internally displaced person, like what's happening in Upper Nile and Central Equatoria State and Central Equatoria State, like places like that's Morobo County. And there are reports also that those who are voluntarily returned home are also leaving their home, going back to refugees camp. Thank you. Now turn to that's our live call and have this one. Hi Radio. Hi Radio.
Madrama James.
Yes.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, Joseph.
Thank you. My brother, election is not bad. But we could ask ourselves which environment South Sudanese are going to conduct the election on 2026. Because election has been postponed 2 times. Now we are going to 2026. And this year, when it's being pushed to 2026, there were a lot of complaints from the citizens themselves. They want election to be done on 2024. But after that, the leaders themselves pushed the period of election to 2026, and the statement released by the president say that extension is better than war. Right now, there is a war in some part of the country. Almost full countryside is almost occupied whole. But they are still here in Juba telling us that we are going to conduct elections. They are going to use which modality? Because they are one who brought this agreement, and they told us that we are going to implement this agreement, and the election will be the end of the transitional period. Now transitional period is ended on war now, it's not ended on peace. So the which environment they are going to use that election, because we don't want somebody who is going to change his position tomorrow and is the one who tells people through media that we are going to conduct election. Which kind of the election they are going to do, within Juba or within the country? So if they are in the studio, they are supposed to answer it. If they are going to conduct election on Panga, which is bombing yesterday, or the situation will change, and who is going to change this situation?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have Olinga Abu Joshua that if general election is to be conducted in South Sudan, then it will not be fair and free. Thank you. I read you.
Hello.
Are you?
Hello.
Emmanuel Panadol.
Salam alaikum. Kevita Boys.
Mawatal.
Alhamdulillah. Ana bishukuru akoma pitana be kilima altalamini Michael Makui and intikabat be honda molo. Eja kan fi intikabat kan manato nina wogifu kalam pita harib. Minni kan fi jaman fitatifagia alikutuzi spaya umon waka fitifagia kan mofru mashakil kan biga mafi. Anina get surprised in 2025 harib bada ujum bada fi iya kona fi Junu Sudan harib o security biga indu ferry yani hata fayamat biga mafi bomas biga mafi nasal kan gija mini kem fi belet biga rija wara fi kem election al bigulude deni na yagi jada fi Juba ini barao wala fi county headquarters wala fi state headquarters towns eja kan fi election hal nas al hasadi turju fi kemde mon ma muhim fi jun Sudan ba mo ni do haka sanamulo intikawa aha anina jesi tijen malo nina giru dugale nina der election naze geni fi kuris kamsena makan nina bigul kida hakuma ita salfakir manwa fi domon ma nasala sa mojutin mini alfen kamsala de hasade fi system fita hakuma naze geni kun binenjilu hakuma vito monde kalas biga expired kan nina der new candidates mone avi stand fi sunu di intikabat nasi judat ma sarfa wele riak wale munu so create masakil asanumun badin bija asuru intikabade be goa ita khanta ma jada fi SPLM au bishirita wenu candidates ala hasade bamur campaign de wen fi atu imbormen manata ita fata ras kita amul campaign vodurita bra asa sesin kullu waqifin guided kaivle nefsu manatu kan wonu su kalam ina gumon biga yani de moral busa sa SPLM
ma zoldan bukala ma sita Emmanuel Panadol tagad bonus kalam bita intikabat munu wadurita
made hakuma ya udurinda ay confuse nina kala le harib le amulu 2025 kan fi process ta intikabat kan ma fi harib nas kan bi khun fi salam haja dal ma wakao foko kan bi wakao nas kan bi khun fi moral kwes yani naina bad duru lakin hasade nina dakal fi harib ani jatu biga ma bi tegwa
naam shukran
so de hajal nina mutasi fogo so nina dera kuma vitana igero gulu fitomon ani kelaru galu umon nas fita belet fita junu Sudan wonna kulana debele fitana kelna kun indumo haba ya kwana ma fi haja tanan bagal rabbana de o yasika fitana wonina khaman yao muhim fi belede
shukran
nas yadu ya bijagen fi belede ما في ناس ثاني
أنا كده سؤال بتاعك وصل هدارين وكمان جنوبين كل الغاد بتابي برنامج ده وصل زمان أصلا شيلو مخالمة يلا بعدك نبقى في البرنامج هاي راديو ودي فرصة بس لأخر مخالمة هاي راديو
مدرما
أيوة
ما عندي شكرا من لما نفهمها
مرحب
أنا بدي شكرا لناس الشارك في برنامج ده وتفيد شديد تعرف أنا جد من جملة بالتأساس لأن الناس أساس لأن أنا دين يعني بكوري الآن تنتكبات أنا لأن نعرف ذلك تنتكبات الوامنو أو سوية كده مشكلة أن فوق بدأ بيجلل يعني بكل ما لكن لما كنا نقول يا مدام جنس ما لا
أنا معك هاي
ما كان يدير حقيقة كلام يعني ديرنا جدا بالجماعة ما كل ما زمن نيوكل all faces الجدو بينفع بينه كم سليم كاكومايني ومن يعني أصلا أكو مدى يا زريدة ومن يا وده أكو مدى سنكرم
تبتب ما نشينه
كان قالوا بودي توازن لنا جموتين نالغاني أنا كده أجلونا أنا بيجا تبني من دماغ بدي أنا كان ده ناس جدا بس أنا كده أعرف ناس حال ناس الماشين كيف أجل bisa kan kanan ودي ولا كان ناس الناس aku mare mande sai bisa kana zuru na kiji kane bara mi na mo guru mo da data karanta ma kana mun bakal kan biga zuru biga min kuma na sala ta في كرسي دل كان زينو كان من تيسر جل رمين فات النوم بقول ده كان مارسين ممكن يسلا كلام تاعنا وده كنا كان نزل كان حتى كان في فات كان لكن نزل المعنى ريكورد بطل يا جماعه انما نزل النار قال دول يجي دوم تيجا وبيطلعوا ده سالم
شكرا
أنا دير رئيس كمانداتو معلش كان تباس مدى حقيقة كنا إتا علي كان لا تبيها إتا أقراتا
شكرا
إتا جاتو جي رئيس في الزمن ده وابا وجيني أنا جيل بتاعي وأنا درجة في أنا جدام وزي ما قال لي زندر جيل بتقول لا كده تايفود جدول في الجول إذا يرو دبلك راح تموك دبلك راح ترجع عشان كيف جارو الجيش ده بريجا
Shukran jazilan. And with that, dear listener, we have come to the end of this very discussion. We have been talking about remarks made by Minister of Information Michael Makueni Luetha, reaffirming that South Sudan is set to hold a general election in December 2026 as scheduled during the latest extension of the transitional period. The minister was speaking during the belated World Press Freedom Day celebration on Tuesday, where he highlighted the important role of journalists in delivering a free and fair election. And we have been seeking your thought on that particular development. I have been your host, Madrama, and thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.